grinding on down the hill. You wanted to be a mine explorer.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we're off on foot. All of these big rains we've had around here lately have kind of ruined the road. So we're hiking, which is great anyway because we like to hike. We got this whole beautiful canyon all to ourselves. This is looking behind us. Once again, I'm amazed by the amount of work that miners did just to get to this location. Not to mention the actual mining work. It's just absolutely astounding. Well, we've come to the bottom of the tram here. Here's a big side dump ore car. This would be able to dump either way, left or right. And the wheels are gone. See, these pins on this side would catch it, and it would, the way they balance, they can dump either way. To my right is the bottom of a tram. 3 big chutes coming out of the ore bucket, ore bin. There's a tram car still hanging there. This looks like it was the kind of tram that had one bigger wire cable that carried the weight of the bucket and some smaller cable that went back and forth to pull the cars up and down the hill. Oh, I forgot to mention when I was talking about how the miners go through all this to get to these places. This is just the bottom of the tram. The mine is way up the mountain here. I know you can't see it because of the sun, but the mine is way up the mountain. So we're up here at the tram lower terminal. Look at the size of the bull wheel here with steel spokes. That's got to be what? That's about 8 to 10 feet diameter. And these chain links or something, look at this. They're huge. And there's one on each side. Tied back to about a 2-inch pin driven into the ground. And there's another one behind it too. There are 2 pins anchoring this down. And then here's this huge wheel. Oh, look at the ore buckets, or the tram buckets were red. Here I am up by the tram bucket. Yeah, this is an official tram cable that they use up here. What they're made out of is steel, a steel casing around inner cables. I've seen cross sections of them before from some of the big trams that run up into the mountains. And this is the bucket. It's not a real big bucket. I can barely lean out there and touch it. I'm kind of precarious where I'm perched here. It's probably 2.5 by 3.5 feet and maybe 2 feet deep. Pretty cool looking though. And then this other cable, see this one that's anchored there, that carries the weight of the tram buckets. And this one that goes around the big bull wheel, that pulls it up and down because that's fixed to it right there. And these just ride on that carrier cable. And the same thing on the other side, so they go back and forth. Well, that was the easy part. Now we got to climb the mountain and find where the actual mine was. And I think there's a trail that starts over here somewhere, kind of a ways up canyon still before the trail starts. Okay, that's looking back at the bottom of the tram. This is the trail. We're starting up the mountain. This is going to do a lot of switching back because it's a very steep mountainside here. This is how we became interested in mine exploring in the first place, as we were hiking a lot, and a lot of these trails led to mines. And we get all the way to the end of the trail and it's at a mine, and we're like, well, I guess we're going to explore the mine while we're here. So you have to be part mountain climber too to be a good mine explorer. That's back down to the tram bottom. We're going up the mountain. There's the lower terminal. You would have needed an extra can of beans and some extra jerky if you worked up in this mine. Those guys had to be eating like horses climbing up this hill. Follow the float. This is a chunk that looks like it came from the mine that's sitting on the trail. Although they did tram a lot of it, I'm sure originally they used burros. So here is an upper ore bin. We haven't found the top of the tram yet. I think it's behind me because I think what happened is these tracks that you see emptying into that ore bin came out of the mine. We haven't found that yet either, but it can't be too far. And then there were tracks that went along the ground over to my right as I'm looking, and that's where the top tram terminal should be. So let's follow Julie, and we're going to follow those tracks and hopefully we'll find the mine. So this looks like some of the things that are coming out of the mine. We don't know a lot about it, what they were mining. But I smell sulfur, that's good. So let's go ahead and see what we find in here. Maybe that'll help explain things. So there's air and water lines coming in here still. There's another valve on the air line, it looks like. Tracks take a sharp left. There's also a bit straight ahead. You want to look at that first?
Yeah.
Look at the sulfur. Wow.
I know. That's crazy.
It is. There's a fuse reel, or spool, I guess you could call it. Not sure if they were looking for something back here and didn't find it, because everything went left back there a ways. Some dynamite box parts. Okay, there are a couple of oil cans here.
Mobile oil, the gargoyle, and the Pegasus.
Yes, it is. What's it say on the bottom?
Something.
Saucony vacuum usually.
Oh yeah, Saucony Vacuum Oil Company, USA.
Cool. And it's got the gargoyle.
Yeah.
And then below is a little badge with the Pegasus. The other one's an RPM.
Oh, that's RPM.
Looks like an oil can. It looks like it was open on the bottom because it's not open on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, open on the bottom. Was that one opened?
No, this one's open on top.
Look at it, opened with a knife.
Yeah, little slit.
And then a couple of plumbing fittings, a union and a quick connect. You know what that is, don't you?
Track gauge.
Yes, exactly. So lay it down in between the tops of the tracks. That's how they would nail their track down. They would put this as a spacer.
Cool. And look at this.
Let's go look at it. Well, we saw the other half of it down at the bottom of the mountain.
Right.
It's the truck to that side dumper.
Right. Cool.
Very cool. Well, this is interesting. There's a large blocker up there, and out of it leads a round ore chute, and it comes down here. And the ore car would have been loaded right here, right at the end of these tracks. And that's the base of the ore car. We saw the other part down below. Here's a little ladder. Looks like there's another one going up this way. And way up in there is a stope with some various colors to the minerals. So maybe we can go up a little higher and see what's going on. There's also a muck sheet here. And then I don't know what this thing is. It's too heavy to be a mucker. Oh no, it's not. It's probably a mucker. shovel, drag shovel. What do you see over here?
Stope.
That's looking down. This is looking up. Boy, there's some dark minerals up there, isn't it?
Tom's gonna go check out the upper stope here.
Try to.
It's right here. A little steep.
Kind of weird ladder. Ooh, is it hot up here?
Is it?
Okay, I'm up in the stope. I really don't know what this geology is or what this mine was producing, but not seen a lot of them like it. It really smells sulfury. And then there's this real dark iron looking material. And then there's a gray, kind of a very crumbly, some kind of granite maybe that's being eaten away. Stuff's falling apart. It goes over here too. Let's see if I can get over there. This is looking back down. Julie's down there. This is the other part of this stope. And then this is going to be looking down into this collector and that chute going out. Julie, can you shine your thing up that chute? So that's about it for this little area. Let's see if there's anything else exciting in this mine. Okay, I guess we're heading back out. We're going to go look at the top of the tram. See if we can find that other car. I know there was something laying down in the wash far below us here, but I couldn't tell what it was. Might be an ore car or it might be a tram bucket. There's the portal. There's a piece of drill steel that turned into a pin of some sort that broke because they've been banging on it with a hammer. You can see that. Mushroom the head. Alright, let's wander over to the top of the tram. Okay, there's one last look at the portal. Tracks coming out. Going this way. Let's see if we can find the top of that tram. Because they would have dumped the ore into this first bin here. And I don't think I'm going to be walking out there. Anyway, they would have dumped it into this bin. And then you can see the track going over to, must be the top of the tram somewhere over there. We haven't seen it yet. So let's work our way across the trail here and go see the top of the tram. I'm not sure where they were getting their water from. The water line's still here. There's a big union. Jefferson, it looks like. 2-inch. Yeah, there's the tracks over to the upper tram terminal. Let's get down there and follow those. I'm kind of excited to see the top of this tram. We haven't seen it yet. The bottom was pretty awesome. With that huge full wheel, spoked. Oh, there's a trestle. Cool.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is beautiful.
That is neat.
Wow. A mountainside trestle. I still don't see the top of the tram. I mean, I see a bin down there, but the tower must have caved, huh? Alright, do you want to try to walk along that, or do you want me to?
Well, why don't you try first?
Comes Julie crossing the trestle. That's a 5-inch shaft. This is the big bull wheel. It's a 10-foot diameter bull wheel here. I'm right underneath it. And it looks like it's in 2 pieces here. It's joined together, 2 halves. Look at the size of the bearings up there. And down here too. It's probably a Babbitt bearing. Yeah, I could scratch it with my fingernail. So this is the brake lever. It still moves a little bit. It's not hooked up. It would have been linked up. See, move it again once. Pull it down. See, these move. This would have been linked up to this, which would have pulled the band brake. So here's the block. It's a Rope Master. It's a guide for that 1-inch rope. The tram car would have rolled right over that. And here's the loading station for the tram right here, this little side chute. And there's one on the other side. I'm sure I haven't been over there yet. But right there would be the loading. And they would have been able to load on either side. Here's another pulley. Now right here is a Atlas Elevator Company, SF Cal. This is a winch. Driven by this Nissan 4-cylinder engine. So this isn't that old. I guess I don't know exactly what year it would be. It's carbureted. Here's the air cleaner. Transmission is still here. Doesn't want to shift. Does this turn at all? Let's try and turn this. Oh. There, no, try it. Look at that. So that's looking down canyon from above. And in the distance I see the Argus Mountains. And the middle range there is the Slate Range. We're in the Panamint. And with that,
we hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on our next adventure.
she's leaving. I better go.